Hello everyone and welcome to another Retro Core, and today we've got yet another Pandora's box. Now this is meant to be one of the newer versions, so let's take a look and see if it's improved upon the previous Pandora box editions. So this is not an official one, as you can see, because it doesn't have the official company logo on it. But it does say classical arcade game station. Okay, professional design and reliable quality. So yeah, they're not actually calling it Pandora's box on the actual packaging, but you know that's what it's going to be. Okay, so let's open this up. Let's see, they've really taped this down, haven't they? Alright, let's take a look inside. I wonder what type of design we have on this one. Okay, again, classical arcade game station. Okay, let's see what we get in the box. Okay, so first up we've got the HDMI cable, and it's quite a long one by the looks of it. Nice. We've got the USB cable so we can connect it to a PC and use it as a PC joystick. VGA cable if you want to connect it to an old monitor. Power cable. Power brick. And that is output of a 12 volts DC. Input 110 to 260 volts, so will work anywhere in the world. We've got a user guide, number 2. Yeah, it's all in English as well, so that's a good thing. And we've got 2 extra buttons. Kind of look like Sanwa buttons, but they're definitely not. But I do like the way they've got the protective covering on the top there, so at least they're not all scratched up. They don't feel so bad. Okay, and the stick itself. 2-player, as we can see. One white, one black. Oh, it's that design. The 2 fists coming together. Alright, let's see if we can get it out. Alright, so typical design. Let's put that over there. Okay, so on the stick itself, we've got some plastic on there to keep it clean. You can see it's coming off there. So, you know, that's going to keep it nice and fresh, but we'll take that off. And then we've got little plastic over each button as well, so they're nice and clean as well. The sticks themselves, they have what seems to be plastic stalks, but yeah, typical buttons, not too special. Top is Perspex, and the bottom is metal. And we've got the speaker grill there, and oh, we got some what could be cobwebs. It's actually dried glue. Alright, around the back, anything different? Nope, the usual affair. We've got the DC in, HDMI out, VGA out, audio out, volume there for that audio socket, setting, okay, and 2 USBs where we can connect this up to a PC or other device and use it as a joystick on those machines. Alright, let's take a look at the actual board inside, and I've just noticed it's not screwed in here, is it? Okay, let's get these screws open at the front and take a look inside. Okay, we've got the screws out. Let's lift up the lid and see what's inside. Okay, well, as you can see, it's wired up pretty tidily, actually, not too bad. We've got, what type of gates have we got on there? We've got circle gates on there, so they can be changed out as well. So you can put square gates or hexagonal gates on those joysticks if you wish. We've got a speaker down the bottom there. Don't know if you can see that. Whoops. And we've also got a row of LEDs, so yep, this is going to light up. And that's the main board. So there we go with a close-up look at the board, and as you can see, that micro SD card is stuck down, but I suppose we can get that out and add more ROMs to it. And yes, this is actually stuck on with tape, probably double-sided thermal tape, so we can't get that off. Well, we can, but then we've got to stick it back down and don't have stuff to stick it back down with. But yeah, typical boards that we normally find in these type of devices. Nothing so special there. So upon booting up the machine, you can see it comes up with the name Game Console, and then followed by Pandora 11. Or was that Pandora 11 too? I don't know. It's got something in the background. Now this device has a total of 3,003 games on it, and it's a mix of arcade and PlayStation stuff. As you can see there, it's got Rockman X8, or Rockman 8, sorry. and it says it's a 3D game. So yeah, it's got a lot of PlayStation stuff on there as well. Now, when you first start up the games, they look absolutely awful. They're really, really blurred. Take a look at this direct capture footage which I took. Now you can see it looks absolutely horrible. It's got a really nasty filter on it. It sounds really bad too. Like all these Pandora box machines or these knockoff type ones, you can't do direct video capture because the sound is always messed up. Now let's take a look at the same game with the filter switched off. And yes, as you can still see, it looks pretty bad, doesn't it? And it is stretched to 16:9 as default. Never mind, but at least this gives me a chance to show you the save state function. So earlier I did a save state, and if we just bring up the menu here, we can load that save state up. So yes, save states do work on this device. Okay, now let me show you the menu system. So first of all, we have an I/O test, which tests all our buttons to make sure everything is working just fine, which it is. We can redefine the keys. Now if you look at the standard setup, it's actually set to Neo Geo, where it's a ABC in a Neo Geo, or ABCD in a Neo Geo configuration, and E and F at the bottom. Now that's fine for the Neo Geo games, but when you go to play other games, it's all messed up. So I'm going to reconfigure these. Alright, so press for A, B, C, D, E, F. Alright, now that should be more standard. It's going to be a bit wonky for Neo Geo games, but it's going to be standard for everything else. System settings. This is where we can change various things, such as how you can select the menu. And here is that horrible smooth option. Now I've got it switched off now, but it still doesn't look that much better, to be honest. We can also add some gamepads to the USB sockets at the back, so we can play 4-player games, as well as use specialized gamepads such as analog sticks and so on for racing games. If this has got any racing games on it, that is. Game settings, where we can change the difficulty of each game and edit the favorite lists and so on. Bookkeeping, obviously bookkeeping. And language, so we got Chinese, Korean, Japanese, simplified Chinese, and English again. App module. Now I'm not sure what this is, but it says Lei Yao Yao there. Not sure what that is about. Okay, and we can save our settings and go back to the main game. So let's start off with a bit of Neo Geo action and see how good the emulation is. These things are always caked full of knockoffs of King of Fighters games. The Chinese seem to love these things. But we're not going to do King of Fighters, we're going to do something else on the Neo Geo. It's bloody hell, how many Neo... Look at that. Practically 120 odd King of Fighters games. Let's go with a bit of Metal Slug 5. I'll go with Metal Slug X, I like that one better. Alright. It says it's running at 720p, and I can confirm that this is in fact running at 720p. Okay, so as you can see, the 16:9 default aspect ratio is really, really nasty looking. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the TV menu and fix that and put it to 4:3 as it should be. There we go. Normal. Yes. Okay, let's check out the emulation. Now these older Pandora box knockoffs used to have terrible screen tearing, but this one doesn't seem to have any screen tearing at all. Or at least not yet. Now because these are emulation machines, you'd expect them to have some lag, but so far I'm not noticing any real issues with lag. Input is very responsive. Now to get out of a game, we simply press the pause button, and this is where we can do our save states or exit out to the menu. Okay, let's take a look at a Capcom CPS game. We'll go with Street Fighter Zero 2, my favorite out of the Zero series. Now let's see if the buttons are configured correctly. Yep. And we can see screen tearing. Can you see that? I can certainly see it, and I'm sure you can see it at home as well. So they haven't fixed that problem, screen tearing straight away. That's pretty bad. There's a slight lag from when I press the fire button and to when the actual bullets come out. Here, watch. You can hear the noise when I press the button. Ready? See, there's a slight delay, like a couple of frames. Let's do that again. Listen to the noise when I press the button. Ready? Yeah, it starts firing a little bit later. But it's not too bad, it's maybe like a frame. Not too bad. Okay, well that doesn't seem to have screen tearing. Oops. Let's try out another game. Very quiet, this one. Very quiet. I could just about hear it. But yeah, it seems like the vertical scrolling games are actually in the correct aspect ratio. But you can see the screen tearing on this one. Look at that. Screen tearing at the top of the screen there. Do you see that? And it dropped a few frames as well. For those of you who can't see, I'm going to point it out. Look up here, look at it. That is pretty bad. Alright, try a different game. Yeah, this one's got screen tearing as well. See at the top? Can't remember the moves for this. Okay, here's a classic Altered Beast. How is this going to run? Well, at least this one doesn't have... Oh, hang on. I was going to say, at least this doesn't have screen tearing, but I think I'd spotted a little bit. Oh, maybe that was just my... Yeah, there it is. You can see it. It seems like all the arcade stuff has screen tearing on it. That's a disappointment. Okay, so we'll check out with Rockman 8, see how this works. This is a PlayStation version. Is it the Japanese one or the Western one? You can tell the Western one's got no lyrics. It's the Japanese one. But you can see the screen tearing on the FMV as well. It looks terrible. Alright, let's get into the game. Yeah, see when scrolling down? You can see all the screen tearing there as well. Yeah, that's pretty bad. I mean, the speed is okay, but the screen tearing is nasty. I just wonder, if we switch on the smoothing option, will that take away the screen tearing? Let's check it out. Yes it does. So, it's... Oh no it doesn't. It just moved the screen tearing further up the screen. See, it's now juddery at the top instead of the center. Not as bad, but it's still there. Can you see it? Look at this. Look at the clouds at the top of the screen, and you'll see them juddering a little bit. So the smooth option does help, but not by much. This is being put into Chinese. Look at that. It's a Chinese hack. I wonder if you can do save states on PlayStation games. Let's check that out. Save. Alright. Let's see if the save state worked. Yeah. You can save state PlayStation games. No problem there. Now, one cool feature about this device is the fact that you can search for games by name. So I do know that this has Pepsi Man on it. PlayStation. There you go. Pepsi Man. Now, how do we get back over to the selection? I think it's that button. There we go. Now we can play Pepsi Man on the PlayStation. So that is a nice feature where you can search for the games by name. There's no music in it. Looks like the music's been ripped out of the file. Oh well, that's a shame, isn't it? But yeah, this seems to work. So it looks like the 3D PlayStation games work without any issues. But the 2D PlayStation games have screen tearing, just like the arcade stuff. Okay, so now it's playing R-Type Part 2, but this is the PC Engine game. So it looks like it's got PC Engine ROMs on here as well. That's weird. So it seems to be a mix of arcade, PlayStation and PC Engine by the looks of it. And to be fair, it doesn't look too nice, does it? Got some sound skipping as well. That's not too good. So what's my final verdict on this machine? Well, to be honest, not too good. I mean, it has a lot of games on it, but the fact that it's got that horrible blurry filter all over everything, and you really have to have that on, because when you don't have it on, the screen tearing is even worse than what it is when you do have it switched on. You know, the fact, I mean, I don't like the way they put PlayStation games and other console games onto these arcade systems. It's an arcade system, so leave it with arcade games. You know, if you want to play PlayStation games or whatever, play a PlayStation console or something. Yeah, I really wished it was just arcade only, but yeah, the fact that it doesn't seem to play things properly, it's in 16:9 as default, and yeah, I mean, it just isn't any better than the old versions, to be honest. And the LED lights inside it hardly even glow. Look at that. You can hardly even see them. So anyway, if you're after one of these things, then I'm going to put a link in the video description down below. Maybe you can mod it and put a Raspberry Pi in here. In fact, putting a Raspberry Pi 4 in there would improve it 1,000,000 times over than what you get with this thing. Anyway, until next time guys, keep on gaming and enjoy your games. See ya.